should do to vote. A terrible and bloody civil war freed enslaved Americans. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, 1868, granted African Americans the right of citizenship. However, it did not always translate into the ability to vote. Black voters were systematically turned away from state polling places. To combat this problem, Congress passed the 15th Amendment in 1870, and it said, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude." Yet states still found ways to circumvent the Constitution and prevent blacks from voting. Poll taxes, literacy tests, fraud, and intimidation all turned African Americans away from the polls, until the United Supreme Court struck it down in 1915. Many states used the grandfather clause to keep descendants of slaves out of elections. The clause said you could not vote unless your grandfather had voted, an impossibility for most people whose ancestors were slaves. This unfair treatment was debated on the street and in Congress and in the press. A full 50 years after the 15th Amendment passed, Black Americans still found it difficult to vote, especially in the South. What a colored man should do to vote lists many of the barriers African American voters faced. The fight for African Americans raged on for descents. In 1930, one Georgia man described the situation this way: "Do you know I've never voted in my life, never been able to exercise my rights as a citizen because of the poll tax. I can't pay a toll tax. I can't have a voice in my own government." Demonstrators marching in the street holding signs during the March on Washington in 1963. Many brave and impassionate Americans protested, marched, were arrested, and even died working towards voting equality. In 1963 and 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. brought hundreds of Black people to the courthouse in Selma, Alabama to register. When they were turned away, Dr. King organized and led protests that finally turned the tide of African Americans' political opinion. In 1964, the 24th Amendment prohibited the use of poll taxes. In 1963, the Voting Rights Act directed the Attorney General to enforce the right to vote for African Americans. In 1965, Voting Rights Act created a significant change in the statute of African Americans throughout the South.
Talk is cheap, but voting is free. Take it to the polls.
If there's no struggle, there's no progress.
Hate is too much of a burden to carry. It hurts the hater more than they hate. Carl Scott King.
To have a reason to be creative. Langston Hughes. An artist is free to choose what he does, but he must also never be afraid to do what he might choose.
Any time is the right time to do the right thing. Someone should struggle for your right to vote. Use it.
powerful and it prevails. Sojourner Truth.
Oh my God, is that? Oh, baby.
My name is Love.
Hi, everybody. My name is Naomi. Whatever we believe about ourselves and our ability to become true to us.
If you don't vote, you lose the place to the phone.
Booker T. Washington. Success is to be measured not so much as by the position one has reached in life, but the obstacles which he has overcome trying to succeed.
Good afternoon. I'm going to read a poem by Cedric McCleston, and it is named Voting is a Mission. To achieve your ambition, stop hoping and wishing. Voting is a mission. It's like going fishing. No fish will you find if you don't cast your line. So drop your remote and go out and vote. Your candidate might not win the debate, but let me clearly state, if you don't participate, then you abdicate. By not voting your choice, you lose your voice and can never rejoice. Democracy demands having all hands, both critics and fans, despite their friends, being involved to get their problems solved. Things tend to revolve, so we'll be absolved. Voting is a right. We could lose overnight. Unless we unite, stop being uptight, and stay engaged in the fight for which people died, paid in blood or their hide, to not be denied.
When I turned 18, I was given a gift, a vote. A responsibility almost too heavy to hold. For I knew it was more than just checking a box on a ballot, but carrying the legacies of stories untold. The struggles of Rosas, the movements of kings, discrimination of Jim Crow, strange fruit hanging from the tree. All just to be seen, to be heard, that we too sing America, Langston Hughes, that we too have a say in legislation and government, and it's not something that we should have to prove, but we had to. So our ancestors did what they had to do. They took every whip, every spat, separation, and stepped back, just so we could win our vote back. And what have we done with that? Well, in 2012, we ran. Did you know we made history? We came out in record-breaking numbers just so Obama could lead. That's right. And in 2016, some of us sat. Did you know we made history? For the first time in 20 years, we pulled away and didn't step back in the time of need. Now, in 2020, we decide, will we make history? For no matter if we sit or run, this election will impact you and me. That's right. And I just want you to know, your vote matters, no matter what people make you believe. And every time you touch that ballot, it's always more than a vote for you and me. Amen. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm going to be reading 5 moments in Black history that will motivate you to accomplish success. I know that some of you probably think, what that got to do with voting? Glad you asked, let me tell you. Imagine being treated less than human, with no civil rights, no choice in the type of work you perform, all by earning less than minimum wage, and oftentimes nothing at all. Being restricted from knowing how to read, write, learn, or even dream of life, being beyond mental and physical enslavement. Black history can be upsetting, but can also be encouraging. Consider the accomplishment of so many under so much racism and strife. Black History Month symbolizes progression in the African American community. African Americans are in a position to make decisions of their choice when it comes to their career pursuit. We must take advantage of the resources that are available to us and be proactive when it comes to obtaining employment. So whether you're a 9-to-5er, a business owner, a freelancer, etc., the key is to stay motivated and practice consistency so you can succeed. Carter G. Woodson encouraged the study of Black history when he founded Black History Week in 1926. His work left such lasting impression in 1976. Black history became federally recognized celebratory month as Dr. Woodson pursuing his passion and advocating for a cause beyond himself. Others recognized it and supported it, which ultimately accomplished his goal. Frederick McKinley Jones received over 60 patents during the course of his career pertaining to refrigeration technology as well as other related to X-ray machines, engines, and sound equipment. He is most notable for his design of the portable air cooling unit in the food trucks that carried perishable items. He was an orphan with little education. He was able to defy the odds. He found work doing odd jobs as a janitor in an automobile shop, where he developed an interest in auto mechanics. He worked daily and studied his craft in his spare time. Jones is a great example of not letting your circumstances limit your ambition. Black Wall Street was an affluent black community in the early 1900s, located in Greenwood District neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. At a time when segregation was at an all-high, the community opened their own highly successful schools, churches, theaters, and some even opened some nightclubs. Tell you what to say. Today, African Americans have the option to start their own business, pursue career opportunities of their choice, and patronize businesses of their choice. Let this piece of history serve as motivation for you to design and create what you wish existed, and be certain to utilize your network to build and create. Ann Lowe was the first credited African-American fashion designer. Lowe was born in 1898 in Clayton, Alabama, during the Jim Crow era. However, due to her grandmother and mother being great dressmakers, her family moved to Montgomery, Alabama. Started their own business. Lowe was a natural at her craft, and later attended design school in New York City, although she was segregated from her classmates. After finishing design school, she reopened her business. Lowe is known for creating Jacqueline Kennedy's wedding dress. Let this motivation for you be used to use your natural talents and gifts to creating growing career. Amen. President Barack Obama was the 44th president of the United States and the first African American to serve in this role. He accomplished some things that so many thought would never be done. Let this be motivation to you that regardless of what others may think of your dreams, do not allow it to affect your vision that you have for yourself. Keep working to make your vision a reality. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Don't judge the color of my skin. Don't judge me for the color of my skin, but from the substance I have within, my intellect I possess, and the strength I compose, the root of my spiritual fruit, and the knowledge I obtain, the wisdom I gain, and the words I use, my balanced views, the confusion I refuse, my peaceful depth of soul that I keep under control. the integrity I display, and my humble ways. My image I project with self-respect, the complete work I do, and how I see things through. For there are several elements still I hold, even the hidden qualities I have yet unfold. So don't judge me, the color of my skin, from what you see. You do not know me. This is a poem by Naomi Johnson.
Growing up as a kid, I hated my dark skin. And if I could be transparent, even now as a grown woman, I have to constantly reprogram my thinking. Years of being told I was not the standard for beauty, but see, that was a lie. Which is why I chose to rewrite my own narrative. Dear black girl, we are warriors whose spirits can't be crushed. We speak up when told we're too much. We forgive when our black men dismiss, degrade, and can't see that we are not the ugly ducklings, but the swan princess, the Nubian goddess, the reflection of our ancestors, made in his image. When society tries to pin light versus dark skin, we remind them that every shade of chocolate is divinely crafted. Black girl magic is more than hashtag. A statement like Maxine Waters claiming our power, moving through this world unapologetically, degree holding with our head held high, melanin moisturized, big hips, thighs, hair, breathing natural breath, and protective style, dear black girl, you better recognize we are the trailblazers. Black wants to be us. As we continue this process of loving our skin, start with this. Look at yourself in the mirror. This is me, the chocolate beauty, deserving and saying, I am queen, the dear black girl, no. And you are everything.
Oh my gosh, Jay, are you serious? This girl, why are your name always tagged in her pictures? I mean, are you for real? She just poison. I done told you several times. Every time I open up Instagram, Snapchat, don't matter. She always up in here. I done told you she poison. I got her let check my own. No. I mean, he'll be alright.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
He a grown man, but he working on both of y'all calls for free. And in your afternoon. What you want us to do, Mama? You want us to stand there and watch an old man do a car? TT, keep giving me attitude. Sick of it. What you could do is offer your uncle something to drink, some water, some juice, or something. But no, that ain't what you can do, because all y'all want to do is sit on your phones. That's all. You know what? Now that I think about it, Jason, you need to be out there learning to work on your own car. Right. So you know how to fix it.
Miller's on his way. He's bringing a new motor for your car. And we're happy up and running in just a little time.
All right, then, can I get you some dinner?
Girl, tell him no pig, he got to give you some neck on it. Hey, Antoinette. Girl, you making all that money.
Trying to.
Yeah, I'll probably get a little bit of it.
I got you. Actually got you walking around the neighborhood trying to get people to register to vote. And down at the nursing home, I got 23 seniors to register.
Oh, that's a good thing.
But it's a shame that I can't even get my own sister and my own brother to register to vote.
What's wrong with that? Huh? What's wrong with that? You ain't got to vote. What the problem is?
Ain't nobody trying to get caught up in no nasty old stuff, no dirty old politics, okay?
Okay, well, the big head right here act like I didn't tell him about the program where you can register to vote 6 months before your 18th birthday.
No,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm good.
You're good. Did you say you good? No, you ain't good. Y'all running around here, ain't even registered to vote.
Tell him about Granddaddy.
Boy, my dad, your granddad. Yeah, he went down and registered to vote. He was beaten and fined because he took off of work early to go vote.
What? Are you for real? You're kidding, right?
Oh, really?
See, this kind of stuff is the reason why I don't want to vote.
No, this is the reason why you do need to vote.
Well, y'all got
Go! Boy, I was only 10 years old. Boy, I was oldest in the family. Boy.
it. Yeah, but you didn't stay 10 years old. That was my daddy. I probably still been locked up. So I would have got the whole family.
Got old family.
Who's whole family? What are you talking about, Jason? Everybody finna go to prison.
Tonette, hush. Because if that would have been my day, too, I feel you, bro. That would have been me, too.
No, I'm just saying. They don't want this move. You don't get up my granddad and he's not hearing about it?
Man! Boy, that been over 50 years ago. What you talking about?
It don't matter. Man, y'all fake.
Fake? What you mean, fake? Y'all fake. Run around here talking about black lives now. And you ain't even ready to vote. Huh? That's fake.
Fake. Tell them, and also let them know that the black vote is very important and powerful. But y'all not trying to hear that. Y'all don't understand that. They don't understand it. I don't get why. I don't get it.
No, Tonette. Look. See, people, we've been out here voting for years, and we still out here being killed by police officers, everything. Okay? So they put into office who they want to put in office. Look who they put in office not too long ago, Barack Obama. And why? To shut our mouths just for a second, to set us up for the kill. Set us up for the kill. Y'all better stop sleeping on it,
Look, okay. We can't change everything, but we can start with our voice. Why do you think they beat up Granddaddy? Once they knew that black people could start voting together, they knew the power that we could have. But you're not trying to hear that, are you? Nope. They're not understanding. They're not understanding. They're
You
not
don't understand? What you mean you don't understand? You just don't understand. You just don't understand. You don't understand, do you?
encourage black people to vote. Look here, Jay. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And then Jimmy Lee Jackson beaten and shot just by white troopers, white state troopers. He tried to protect his mother and grandfather from them during the Civil Rights March. Didn't work. But his death led to the Voting Rights Act.
They killed all these white folks just because they were trying to help black people vote?
Yep. It didn't matter if you was black, white, Hispanic. If you was trying to help black people vote, you got killed, dealt with, murdered.
Wow. That's messed up. All right, look, I heard enough for that. I'm ready to register to vote. Okay? Because I know that my vote gives me a voice, and my vote counts.
Yeah, me too.
I got 2 more on my roster. That's, you know what? This is so good. 2 more people to add to this list. I have some more forms in here, but I know I have some more in my car. So y'all, let's go, and we can go over these candidates so we can figure out who y'all gonna vote for. Okay, y'all, let's go. Come on.
Hey, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks. No. Say, you know so many details about our dad.
Well, I don't remember that or that. But I've been trying to get these little wannabe Black Panthers and Black Lives Matter to go to register to vote for years. I was like, forget that, because, you know, I'm good. You good?
I'm good. I am ready to vote.
Are y'all good?
Yeah.
All right, then come on here, Teddy.
You sure they good? You ain't even ready to vote. What that girl in that yellow right there? You ready to vote?
No.
You did?
No.
Well, what your about? You gotta vote. You ain't count. Your name John Doe. Did you ready to vote, bro?
I'm okay.
You ain't ready to vote there. When?
Mom, they said it was good.
No, we ain't good.
They said it was good.
Then you ready to vote.
They said that it was good. Mom, they said it was good.
All right, I'm good. I'm going to introduce the cast. This is just a little short skit. We pray that you all enjoyed it. Okay, Tiara, TT. My vote gives me a voice, and my vote counts. Jason. Chelsea, Tonette.
I'm not gonna say it live, but March 3rd is our primaries for elections. Make sure y'all go out and vote.
Sharon, Mama. Wayman, Uncle Teddy.